Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show.
I saw it was Jordy's turn right because of the hat.
Never mic'd up.
I am.
Of course.
Okay. Hey, welcome in, everybody. It's Katie Allgood and Lloyd Courtney. Jordy is...
We're here.
We are here. Jordy is out today, so we're going to run this show. I was headed to carpool and not dressed at all when I got the call that it would just be me and Lloyd, but here we are in our hats.
I didn't get to put my makeup on.
Lloyd didn't get to put his makeup on. I got to put a little bit on.
There's a mouse in the house.
There's a mouse in the house.
Which is terrifying because I was just going out there. I was going to put my face on, and then I see little old Greg over there in the corner. He's in our nuts, and I was like, well, that's where a mouse would be if I were him.
Our peanuts.
Our peanuts and almonds. And he was just standing right at me behind the box, so I tried to leave a trail for him, and then he attacked me, and I think I slipped on the rug and done my knee up.
So I walk in here and there's like a trail of peanuts going out the back door trying to lead it out, and there are table, chairs, and furniture blocking the entryway into our studio. Lloyd can show y'all so that the mouse can't get through, but it 100% can get through that.
It can squiggle through here.
There's no squiggling about it. Look at the table. Like, all you have to do is walk under there. It's pretty easy to get in here.
Hold on, this is like a boy in the mirror.
We're not scared of mice. We just
I am. I'm fucking terrified. I just figured that out.
No, you're not. Yeah, you did scream when we were on the phone, but we're not scared. We just don't want him to get hurt, right?
Yeah. After what I saw Jordy do to a lizard, I'm a little concerned about old Greg.
All right, so yesterday the SEC announced that 6 LSU football players made the freshman all-SEC team, and that is more than any other SEC team this year. You know who they are? Lloyd?
Say that again.
What? 6 LSU football players made the freshman all-SEC team, which sets
Six,
which sets a new program record and more than any other SEC team this year.
So you got
Can you name them?
You got the 2 tackles, Will Campbell, Emory Jones,
Right.
Harold Perkins, Mason Taylor.
Yes.
There's 4.
You got
freshmen.
2 more.
What position?
Oh man, if I tell you that, you're definitely gonna know.
Offense or defense?
I it's kicker. I mean, this is going to be.
Oh, I didn't even know he was a freshman.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny Ramos?
Damian. And then Nathan DeBear?
Dilbert.
No, there's no L.
DeBear.
Yeah.
Dibbert. It's Dibbert
Kickoff
because he's from the
specialist.
north.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's them. More than any other SEC team this year, so that's pretty exciting. Right?
Are we settled on Greg as the name for this man?
Who?
Their mouse.
Oh, you're very concerned about the mouse still.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mouse
we
in the
can call
house.
it Greg if you want to.
I don't know. I feel like we can name him anything we wanted. I'd just pick Greg right off the jump.
Okay, let's pick Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Men's basketball faces off with Wake Forest tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's a non-conference game. They're doing well, right?
Say that again.
Men's basketball, why aren't you listening
Of
to
course,
me?
of
They
course
play
it-
Wake
I
Forest
also
tomorrow.
have to do this.
Are you so scared of this mouse you can't even pay attention to what's going on? And women's basketball is opening the season 10-0 Sunday against New Orleans.
Love it. Two
I
easy
know.
games, 2 out of conference games. I don't know anything about Wake Forest. If you want to learn about Wake Forest, I'd imagine you tune into the Will Wade pod on Monday, and he will break it all down for you. Not specifically LSU, but definitely the Wake Forest recap, a little bit of what they did offensive and defensively. You'll get your college football recap from the General, Will Wade, every Monday. 1 p.m.?
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
The Will Wade podcast. If you
From
haven't
the Will Wade
subscribed, what are
podcast.
you
Subscribe
doing?
if you haven't.
Yes.
The man is a walking, breathing Bible of college basketball and the NBA. We didn't think
Yeah.
it would be as easy as it was, but we just teed him up and he went off. And so, like, okay, we can do this. Like, it's pretty much just the Will Wade show. It's a
I
press
know.
conference, but it's unfiltered.
I'm
So,
so glad to have him back in our life.
absolutely, it felt
it felt
nostalgic
weird.
to see him whenever we hooked up on the video call. I was like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
And he's like, good to see you. I was like, good to see you.
Yeah.
So.
It felt weird.
It's just he'll always have a special place in our heart. He was
Mm-hmm.
one of the first people to help get this show off the ground whenever you blindfolded
He
him and
was.
brought him in.
He was our first blindfolded person.
And he was high profile, and he was like, "What are we doing here?"
was
We're
not
like,
happy.
"We don't know." Yeah, just
and
roll
y'all
with
sent
it.
me out there because I
Yeah.
was new to everything. So I was like, I need to put this blindfold on you
And
and lead you in here. And he was like, what?
What? Okay.
It was not cool.
What kind of show are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not cool.
But
You're
so happy to
scared.
have him back in the fold.
Can you
Will
still
Wade.
say boot up? Did y'all
Oh
say it during the
yeah,
show?
we should have named it the Boot Up Podcast. That's what I wanted to do.
I don't know if that would fly.
Well, they're not saying it anymore. Matt McMahon's going to come up with his own thing as he gets more comfortable. He didn't come in with the same pizzazz that Will Wade did, but that's kind of why Will Wade was showing the door. That's
Well,
fine.
he has a very low-key personality.
Absolutely.
He's
We
very
go-
even
then-
keeled.
That's what it felt like Scott Woodward was going for. You know,
Yeah.
he wanted people that would kind of, we got to get this thing right.
Mm-hmm.
The fraternity party has spilled onto the street. We got to get some police involved, and so that's what he did. And now we've straightened the whole LSU brand out.
Yeah.
Which leads us to probably his best hire in
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Two
And
very
LSU to have
soft-spoken, stern men.
men, yes, very strong men. But for him to have, 6 freshmen on the All-SEC team?
Yeah. More than
Shows
any
what
other
kind of
team.
program he's building, and hand up, that's on me. I didn't think he was recruiting well. Egg on my face. But when we get there and you see what's happening in the portal and how LSU is losing a few players continually.
Everybody is.
Yes, exactly. But my point being, I think that they are not so much leaving as being told, I don't know how much room there is for you, which is what you hope is the case. I said the same thing about Alabama, and I think Brian Kelly is in that same vein of, we have a plan. Mm-hmm. And you got to get out in front of it on the front end and be like, look, Cole Taylor, thank you for your service. I think we're bringing in a couple more tight ends. We only have one tight end on the roster, or one scholarship tight end, in Mason Taylor. And they have one committed in Mac Markway. And they're supposed to, which leads me to my next point, is that it seems like they're going to add Kyle Morlock, shorter university tight end, graduate transfer, Division II,
What university?
shorter.
Shorter. Where is that?
Not taller. I don't know. No clue.
That's so bizarre.
Picked up an offer in November from LSU. I think LSU was one of the first teams to offer him. He's since added double-digit offers. So, obviously, once you get that first D1 offer, kind of people follow suit and go, let's look at the tape. This is what Shay tells us all the time is once they've been evaluated in a big-time school, kind of extends that first olive branch, then everybody follows suit and gives them options. Like, if somebody saw something, what are we missing? And it seems that's what happens with Kyle Morlock. like I said, Tigers don't have any other tight ends on the roster aside from Mason Taylor. Mac Markway coming in, Cole Taylor hits the portal. That seems like a, hey, Cole Taylor, how you doing? Keep it moving. We're bringing in this cat from Shorter called Morlock. But that's part of what it seems like Brian Kelly's plan is I'm adding people, so we're trying to make room a little bit, even though LSU has room on the roster. But it seems, or at least you hope, that they're able to have a plan in place to where they're not showing these guys the door, but telling them that it's not going to be an equal opportunity for everybody. We're trying to rebuild this thing again, and you don't want to dive into the transfer portal too much, but it seems like they're finding needs that fit the program and showing other people. Like Cole Taylor, always a weird fit. I think he was brought in by Coach O brought him in because he was the shoe. Who throws the shoe? Turns out Florida throws the shoe. So Cole Taylor won you one game, got you in there against Florida with the kick in the Cade York, the kick in the mist from like 56 yards. So another move there by Brian Kelly, who's very like tight end heavy on the offensive side with him and Mike Denbrock. So it seems like they found a guy, and with Cole Taylor leaving, it seems to be that LSU is probably high on the list of him signing with the Tigers, which is great.
Yeah. I don't see why he would have trouble replacing anyone. This transfer portal is crazy. I think there are like 67 wide receivers in there. There were like 38 quarterbacks. There might be more now. Like, this is nuts, right?
Oh, it's as big. I think there was 960 players in the portal last year. It's up to like 1,100 this year. So, and I read something else where it's not all of these cats find a home. Like you see people going into the portal this year and going and trying to come back to the team that they left. They're like, I was just feeling it out. And it's like, you got to be very careful with how you play this, because once you leave the portal, and correct me if I'm mistaken in the chat, they don't have to give you your scholarship back. Like, they can pull your scholarship once you announce that you've hit the portal. So,
but can you go back without? I mean, can you go into the portal and then just decide you're going back?
Well, it's up to the school at that point. You're leaving.
They have to let you back.
Yes, you're leaving your fate in their hands, as opposed to like, you have a scholarship, you're good to go. If you hit the portal, now they don't have to let you back in with the scholarship. And so that's where a lot of these cats are getting into a little bit of trouble, where they find themselves in no man's land with, where do I go from here? Like the other school doesn't want me back. Maybe they're adding people in the portal, and like my position was taken. And it's like, now you don't have a scholarship. And you see a lot of these kids go to like D2 schools or FCS schools, where it's like, now I just have to find a scholarship and a place to play, which is not really what you wanted from the portal, I would imagine, as to where kids are losing scholarships. But when you let them make their own decisions and you think the grass is greener on the other side, not always the case. So if you're in the portal, can't find a home, that's what's happening. I think it was like 56% of the kids are like left in the portal or have to go D2 or FCS. So it gets a little like unfortunate in a sense, where what am I doing? I'm not playing here. I want to go find somewhere else. But maybe you think that you're a little better than you are, and the schools that maybe didn't necessarily reach out. And I think that's the bigger, like, that's the way you should probably handle it, is if you've been contacted by somebody else, which isn't the best way to play it. But you wait until that 45-day window opens up and you're like, all right, other schools have reached out. That's when you hit the portal, not I'm just going into the portal to go into the portal.
But how common is it for someone to go in and then the school, their former school, to let them back in, like before anything else happens? I know, but that would be awkward, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like that's a really awkward position for everyone to be in. At this point, honestly, we're better off talking about people who aren't in the portal. Why do I keep saying portal, right? There are so many, which leads me to, and I'm not trying to talk about Mississippi State and hijack the show, but this is on every social media outlet I've seen, is Dylan Johnson taking the shot at Mike Leach while announcing his decision to transfer. That was, I mean, we put it on our social media too. Noah did. That was wild, right? And people's opinions around that. Everything was fine. And then that last paragraph, with that being said, since I'm not very tough and Leach is glad I am leaving, I will be entering my name into the transfer portal with hopes of finding a more fit playing environment for me. And people have lost their minds over it. And I will say that I don't agree with this. I mean, I understand he's upset, and I know Mike Leach is a tough coach to work for. And, you know, there are many stories about how abrasive he is to his players, but I just think that this is a really bad look, and like going from there to wherever he is going to end up, if anyone even takes him, like what coaching staff wants to take a kid like that with that kind of attitude that's going to make a dig like that at their former coach, right? Like, have a little more self-respect. I just don't. I don't agree with it. But I know there are a lot of people out there who think he should have said that because they don't like Mike Leach and they think that he deserves this.
Well, there's a lot of Mike Leach slander because he's done this before, right? He says whatever is on his mind. He got fired from Texas Tech for locking a kid in a closet because he had a migraine, and he was like, "We said he needed a cold, dark place, so I put him in a cold, dark place."
It's not funny, but it's
it probably made him feel better as one who suffers from migraines. That's
Right.
actually what you want. But the way it was perceived in the media wasn't exactly kosher.
Exactly.
And then so he gets fired from Texas Tech, where he did a pretty good job beating Texas with the old Michael Crabtree team in like 2009 or 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a good coach, but he also says whatever he wants. And in this day and age, it's probably going to rub people the wrong way. But I also think it's a way that you can take a dig at Mike Leach without Mike Leach caring. He's like, "Yeah, I said it." Like,
you know, he doesn't care.
yeah, if you put Mike Leach on the podium, he'd be like, "Yeah, I said that." Like,
Yeah.
this is what we talk about in the locker room.
100% he
But,
said that.
Yeah, it's the culture that he built where you feel like you could be sarcastic to somebody that's sarcastic. So it's like, I don't care. Like, he doesn't care. This is what he said to me.
Right.
So in Mississippi State also, this is what I find interesting, is it might be leading to a little bit of an exodus from Mississippi State because there's a returner in the portal, which LSU desperately needs, obviously, to try to, I guess, qualm their special teams woes by the name of.
I can't remember who it was.
Oh.
We talked about it earlier, and I can't. Starts with an M, right?
No, it starts with a Z.
No, it does not. Who? The first name?
Xavion Thomas.
Xavion, you're right. My bad.
But he's from Louisiana.
Where? Do you know?
Marrero, I want to say.
Marrero.
Yeah, I went to John Ehret.
Okay.
So he's a guy that I think led the nation. Either way, great returner, which ran one back against Georgia, had a somewhat like a 20-yard average on kick returns, something that LSU desperately needs in a punt returner. As you saw the special teams woes obviously play out throughout the year, this is somebody that LSU's probably going to have eyes on, as he's from Louisiana, got spurned by an offer where he wanted to come to school here.
And he was a freshman. He's young.
Right. Mm-hmm. And he has a position of need, so LSU could possibly extend this offer, and you would think that they would, because Brian Kelly has continually mentioned how much he wants to build through the portal when he needs to, but they put an emphasis on people that are from Louisiana. He'd check and check.
Yeah.
So this is somebody I'd imagine, if he wants to, LSU will be on the table. And considering I don't know how his recruitment went. I don't know what makes him feel spurned or doesn't, but I feel like with Frank Wilson in the fold, you just start pulling the Louisiana strings a little bit. LSU might have a new punt returner for the foreseeable future, which is, if you watched any game last year, it reared its ugly head quite a bit. So to have somebody with some special teams chops is excellent.
So maybe that makes 69 wide receivers in the transfer portal then.
Is it 70 right now?
No, it was 68 a minute ago. What I said that a minute ago.
No, but he is in the portal.
Yeah, and he's related to Walter Payton. Just interesting fact.
Sweetness.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So anyway, I thought, just going back to the Mike Leach, Dylan Johnson thing, what do you think about that? Do you think that makes him look soft to put those comments in there like that? I've never seen.
No, I think he's treating Mike Leach the way that Mike Leach treated him.
I know, but do you think it was the right thing for him to say that? Like, in his announcement?
Yeah, I think that's totally fine. Yeah,
Really?
because the way that Mike Leach is perceived, like by probably other coaches and through the media, it's like, this isn't shocking. If it was another coach, it would probably be a little different, where it's like, oh, what's going on over there? But Mike Leach is Mike Leach. Like, he's obviously has like this personality to where he says what's ever on his mind, and players probably are like, nobody's going to take this the wrong way, because y'all have seen him in the media. Like, he sits up there and sneezes and coughs and just has fits. Yeah, and he's like, I'm just kind of getting over this. It's like, bro, you're right into the microphone. And he just doesn't care.
Weird.
He's like a senile old man that's an offensive genius. So he can kind of get away with it because Mississippi State's never really been in a better spot aside from Dan Mullen. So he has to feel like he has good job security. But it doesn't feel like the players responded to it well. After the announcement, you see other players hop in the portal, which leads to Xavion possibly. I think he was going to transfer anyway, but you might see more Mississippi State players in the portal, and if that's the case, that's when it becomes a problem for y'all.
Y'all. Are you looking at me?
Yeah.
Are you saying me?
Yeah.
Y'all. We. Okay, what about Baker Mayfield last night? Was anybody expecting this? I mean, I kind of was.
Oh, I bet on it.
Did?
I took the Rams, yeah.
You did?
Took them at plus 6.5, and I took the under. So
were you sweating then until the end?
Yeah, I needed that one touchdown. I didn't need both. I was happy for the cover because I knew Baker was going to go out there and like try to prove his chops and like fight because that's who he is. Like he's full of spunk and vigor and just that's how he plays. Like he's obviously an abrasive personality, but in that same vein, I think he's never really had a fair shake. He's played for, let's see, Hugh Jackson in Cleveland that was supposed to lose. Like he had probably one of the losingest all-time coaches in NFL history, and then he gets Stefanski. They have a great first year, lead Cleveland to their first 10-win season ever in the playoffs. And then the Odell saga happens with his dad, and it turns into this drama that's like a mid-morning show that you watch on ABC when you're sick and you're like Days of Our Lives. And this is like all too much. Like there's no reason for this to be happening. So Baker gets ousted, and then he goes to Carolina under Matt Rule, which, let's see, not a good fit. Obviously, like, and Matt Rule gets fired. So Baker keeps leaving this trail where you could point a finger at Baker, but also he's never really had a chance to work with a head coach like they have in Los Angeles and Sean McVay. And it showed, like, he gets there he gets signed on Tuesday, shows up on Thursday, and they gave John Wofford one set of downs, and you could see Sean McVay's like, fuck it, throw Baker out there. Like, we ain't going to win like this, which I appreciate Sean McVay's throwing caution to the wind. They have nothing to lose. They don't have a first-round pick. There's no reason for them to.
They lost the last 6 games.
Oh yeah, and they ruined the Raiders' playoff chances because they had won like the last, I think, 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah, they did.
And they were playing for their playoff lives. And Baker comes in and spoils the whole thing on Thursday Night Football. And thank God, because it was the first, probably exciting. I guess you could only say like 5 minutes of Thursday Night Football because it was another clunker. And then Baker kind of finds Baker magic again, and he's able to lead the team down the field, not only to get within a touchdown, but after a absolutely bomb of a punt that goes down to the 2, Baker leads you 98 yards with no timeouts and scores a game-winning touchdown and starts throwing his head around like a maniac, which has become his celebration. But to see the excitement from Sean McVay, to see the excitement from Baker Mayfield, like that felt like the Rams were a little bit alive. Like they're not going to go down without a fight because they have nothing to like. If you don't have a first-round pick, there's no reason for us to lose. Like, we're not tanking for anything. So we have to play these next few weeks. We might as well go out balling.
I know.
And you can see, like, kind of the spark was reinvigorated in Sean McVay. And this might just be my take. There's a little bit of Matthew Stafford and Baker, and if they can get that thing aligned, like, they're going to re-sign Baker, and he's probably going to be Stafford's backup, or Stafford could retire because he's broken his back. He's had this elbow issue. He's been an absolute Iron Man in Detroit for his entire career. Comes to Los Angeles, wins the Super Bowl, gets hurt again.
I know, it's so
sad. It might just be the writing on the wall for Stafford, who was also excited just in a hoodie going, this is electric. Like, everybody on the sidelines is like, what is happening right now? And for those, like I said, I guess 6 minutes, it was probably one of the more entertaining games we've seen on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
But I think Baker Mayfield is back. To see him play like that with no knowledge whatsoever. They're drawing plays up in the dirt, and he's just going out there and slinging it to be able to get a win. You could see, like I said, the spark in Sean McVay's eyes.
I know.
It was like, I might be in love again.
I know. Sean McVay said, what a quick study. I mean, he got here like 5 minutes ago. He did. They said that he maybe had about 50 throws in his first 40 hours with the new team before he took the field.
Oh, so he's got plenty of bullets in the chamber then.
That's wild, right?
No, it was insane. And so for Baker to be able to,
like... Good for him.
Oh, yeah. And good for, I guess if you want to say good for the Rams, it is, because they were dead in the water with Wofford and a quarterback from Virginia that couldn't really play at the NFL level, and it wasn't a Sean McVay-style quarterback. And Baker he fits everything that they want to do well. He's mobile, do the run game. Like, the Rams aren't absolutely dead, and they'll be a live dog going forward, because Baker, you would imagine, would only get better, or Sean McVay dumbs it down to the point where it's go out there and play.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to think, just go play. And that's what it looked like on that 2-minute drive where he's just like, I don't have to think about anything. Let's just, I'm telling y'all what to do in the huddle, like 7-on-7 style or intramural style.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you run a post, you run a drag, and I'm just going to find whoever's open. And so to see him get rolling like that and rip the heart out of Las Vegas.
I know. I'm happy
the
for him.
ghost of Al Davis.
I think it's like half and half with people. Like, some people don't think he deserves it. I do. I'm happy for him. How about Brittany Griner being released and all the controversy?
Oh, God, why would you bring that up? I don't know.
Because she was released and she's back home, and it's kind of a big deal. What do you mean you don't know?
Now the chat is going to go insane.
Oh, they're already going to go insane about it. We're just mentioning that she's home. She's back home, and they swapped her for a Russian arms dealer. But I did read, I mean, because I'm with everybody. I mean, this was kind of weird. I mean, that all of a sudden she just gets out and there's still a ex-Marine, or he was, I guess, was he honorably discharged? I'm not sure, but he's still there. But I did read that the case is different because they only gave them they didn't give them a choice. It was either release Brittany Griner or release no one. So there wasn't ever a choice for Paul Whelan's family. For Paul Whelan to be freed, but she's home. I watched the video. I mean, it was kind of creepy. Did you see any of that, of like the actual exchange, like on the tarmac?
No.
She's like walking,
No,
and like
didn't.
the Russian guy, like they kind of are in passing, and everyone's shaking hands, and it was super awkward. Like, it was really scary to me. But she's home, and I guess people are half and half about that too. Some people are happy about it, some people aren't. I get both sides, but that was kind of a wild situation, right?
It is in the news.
It is in the news. All right, what else do we want to talk about today?
I'm trying to keep up with the chat.
What are they saying in there? Are they mad because I brought up Brittany Griner?
No, not yet, but it'll get there. But I know people are tuning in. Just to do a little recap, if you're just getting in, Jordy got a bellyache, so he is not
going
here.
around.
It is going around.
I had it on Monday, even though people thought I was traveling.
Traveler's diarrhea. It's a real thing.
That is a real thing, right?
So I don't think Jordy's been traveling, but
no,
the man is out.
The man is out.
Look at it. Look how he left. Just was ready
Aw, look
until he had his little Hutco hat.
Look at his little empty chair.
But
all right,
it's brought to you by.
Let's take a little break. I'll tell you all about Dead Soxy because you have a little more time to use the code Jordy to get 30% off and free shipping. You can get your Christmas gifts for your weird relative who shows up with a gift that half of you understand, half of you don't. Lloyd does not understand that.
Mississippi relatives.
People dropping by with unannounced gifts, and you need to have a backup. Get him a pair of socks. Get him LSU socks. You don't have to have LSU socks. Every team, every SEC team, I think, is on the site, deadsoxy.com. Use the code Jordy. Free shipping, no minimum, 30% off. This isn't available to the general public. This is for our listeners. Use the code Jordy. Deadsoxy.com.
Get some for Cooper.
We'll be right back.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculotta.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
All right, welcome back in. For those who don't know, Jordy is out. Obviously, a lot of people tuning in for Denver Harris news. We all saw the tweet, and if Jordy gets on Twitter, something's happening because the man is rarely in the social space. So he drops a kind of a Twitter bomb and walks away, which is typical Culotta. So I wish I could provide you with an update. I was not privy to those conversations. I don't know what happened, but it seemed like it went well. Obviously, Jordy has some internal ties to Denver Harris, so if he's getting that message out, it's a good thing. And if you're an LSU fan, I know I've seen a lot of controversy around Denver Harris because of what he did at A&M. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the way that LSU's defensive backs room has begun to kind of deteriorate a little bit, whenever Mekhi Gardner, who we failed to mention earlier, has declared for the NFL draft, who was a stalwart corner for you after transferring in from UL. He accepts an invite from the East-West Shrine game. He's going, is announcing that he's going to the NFL draft. So now LSU is kind of thin at corner, and if you have a 5-star out there that feels like he wants to come home, you're really kind of, your hands are tied, and you have to trust that Brian Kelly will evaluate, meet with him, and make the decision from there. But in the same vein, you're almost, like I said, it's a catch-22 because LSU is in dire need of depth at corner. If you can add a 5-star that was a mid-season All-American that didn't play the rest of the year after that, he was trending towards being a true freshman All-American. Mm-hmm. So it's a player of need in a position of need in a place that has, it all lines up on everything that BK wants to do aside from the personality issues. But that's when you get into the conversation of how much do you trust Brian Kelly and what he's put in place to be able to kind of sort him out. Because don't get it twisted, there's a lot of Denver Harrises out there. There's a lot of players who rock the boat and you're able to kind of corral and, get straightened out. Ones. Yeah, a lot of, it's not cut and dry. It's not like we're not going to take him because he's a bad kid. It's they all are going to have, you heard him say it on the LSU Gold. With the Alabama, during the Alabama, this is the first time since I've been here we had everybody go to class. I know that's a small comparison to what Denver Harris was allegedly doing, but that's how much you have no idea what they deal with internally day to day. Denver Harris is just going to be a drop in the bucket if he can get in line. It's there's always going to be something with all of these cats. So you take a chance on somebody that you absolutely need, and if it's able to work out, you don't have to depend on 2 true freshmen that people are hoping are coming. Taviano hasn't committed yet. Mm-hmm. Desmond Ricks hasn't committed yet. And if you get both, you're still looking at 2 true freshman corners starting for you, or at least playing a considerable amount of time. Right. Because Mekhi Gardner left, which he should have. He had a great year. So in that same vein, you need a Denver Harris, and this is somebody that, despite what he brings to the table off the field, is going to be a player for you. And I feel like if you get him in the right situation, what was going on at A&M, it was a free-for-all. Anybody could have gotten it at any time. There was no rules there. They were just all had money, and they're all 18 years old. Right. The parking lot thing is inexcusable. You can't be doing that. Right. But Jordy said yesterday, got the car taken away. So you act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child. Exactly. So for him to kind of get punished, get that one big mistake out the way, gets into a program with a little bit of How would you phrase it? Like a little bit of like order in place. And
Yeah.
I know that's what people are afraid of. Is like you don't want to rock the boat after Brian Kelly came in here and cleaned everything up essentially. But
don't we trust him now?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
It's not going to be everybody that's going to be a Denver Harris, but you're going to have a couple every year.
Yes.
And so you have to trust Brian Kelly. If you want to put a winner out on the field, and don't mistake that if he's not on the team and LSU looks bad at corner, they're all going to say revisionist history, we should have taken Denver Harris. Because if he doesn't come to LSU, he's going to go somewhere.
Well, exactly.
He's not going to quit playing college football.
No.
So,
how do you feel about Desmond Ricks, though? I feel like, what is it, LSU, Florida, and Alabama? Those are his choices? I feel like it's going to come down to Alabama and LSU, right?
Yeah, well, he's from Florida.
Yeah, I know.
And they have Corey Raymond over there, former LSU defensive backs coach, who has some weight in the recruiting world. So that's the only concern there. But it does feel like what the classic LSU Alabama had on the table, where you either get your heart ripped out, or it's always a sigh of relief. Where's Greg? It's always.
I forgot about Greg.
It's always like a. You always feel like you're climbing uphill whenever there's an Alabama hat on the table.
Yeah.
I don't think that will ever change as long as Nick Saban's in the building.
Right.
So.
For another year, 2 years that he's going to be in the building.
Yeah, I mean, the poor man was.
What people are saying.
Yeah, well, he was out there kowtowing for himself, but he's never done that before. It was a sad look for him.
There are signs, right?
Yeah, he was bleeding.
Yeah. There's a chink in the armor.
That's an old man cut. That's like when your grandpa falls and you're like, oh no.
His face cut?
Yeah.
It is totally
it's like Thanksgiving,
that.
like, oh,
or your
party's
hand.
a little ruined.
You're
Yeah.
like really old men, like they cut the tops of their hands for some reason, seem to split
Because they don't
open.
lotion.
Is that why?
Yeah, they just got dry,
the
crusty
skin is
skin.
so thin, and then they just bleed.
And they take a lot of blood thinners.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense, too.
You gotta
I feel like they're always bleeding.
Yeah.
It's very odd, right?
They are.
Out of their hands or
like
random
that's
places.
like the second to last sign of like,
yeah, like
you're
when you
old.
fall and you
Yeah.
know that's like it.
Yeah.
I feel like it starts with when your skin just cracks open and you bleed. That's the first sign, right?
Yeah,
you
then
know
it's a hip.
Like, yeah. Then it's a hip. You're right.
And then it's the hospital bed.
Yeah.
And then it's hospice.
This is depressing. Y'all call us. What's the number? 225?
Oh, I'll put it in the chat.
229-7741. Is that right?
Yeah.
We can talk about the transfer portal, all the players that are in it. Jack Besh.
Katie will get her Brittany Griner takes off if that's the avenue you want to go.
Well, no, I just wanted to bring that up. I thought it was worth bringing. It's a big freaking deal, right?
No.
And everybody has their opinions on it.
I know. It's a volatile
Okay, so
conversation.
are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? There's 7 players in the portal from LSU. Is that it? Is that all of them? Are there only
That's all
7?
of them up to date, yes.
Up till
yes.
now?
The ones that I have listed, Shea Dixon, get well Shea. He came in here on.
Is he sick too?
Yeah, he came in here for the Shea Power Hour. Check it out. But he's like, the portal killed me. And he didn't. I thought he was just being sarcastic. No, dude, I feel awful.
Oh, man.
And
Like stomach?
A strep.
Oh.
And so he went to the doctor yesterday, got tested, which is why I didn't see him at Superior last night. Had a riot with the boys. Great time.
What happened?
Oh, I haven't linked up with him in a minute, so they put us in the corner.
Who was it? Who were you there
I'm not
with?
naming names.
Why not?
They can't put their business out there.
These were your
Will
friends,
Dotrieve,
like college friends?
Yeah, Will Dotrieve.
And you were trying to hook up with Shea. All right.
No, just he's always there on Thursday.
Yeah.
But then I saw that he was sick. I was like, oh, I want to see Shea here.
Yeah.
But had a time at Superior. You were out also.
I was out also. I was in New Orleans yesterday, actually.
Uh-huh.
I have an annual lunch with 2 of my college roommates. And when I tell you, like, we laugh to the point where, and I can't say everyone hates us because it's very crowded at lunchtime in New Orleans.
Well, if you're at Galatoire's, you're fine.
Oh, God. I mean, I was
that where
like,
y'all were?
Yes.
Oh,
like,
you'd be
my
as loud as you
back
want.
was, like, flush with the woman's back at the next table behind me, like, the whole time. Like, we were touching backs. Like, that's how crowded it was in there. We have the best time, though. We mainly discuss why everyone asks us why we didn't go to Ole Miss and why we went to State.
Oh,
That's
so y'all
usually,
just ran it back. Y'all played the hits?
Yeah, it's usually the topic of conversation because we all live in different places and we all get approached by people like that, and it just blows our mind. It's very confusing to people.
Yeah, we ran it back last night too, and it was fun. They all have kids. I do not.
Are you the only one that doesn't?
Another cat at the table doesn't, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it's trending, and everybody's engaged or has a child, and it's just like, let me hear about your life, and I tell them my story, and they're like, I am so jealous.
Yeah, they
of
are.
you, because like I come home and it's not home.
They're living through you.
Yeah, Why wouldn't you?
I know.
It said I come home from work and it's just more work, and I was like, that sounds miserable. Like,
know.
oh, it is. It's like everything's dirty. Just everything you touch. It's just
true.
Like, I think he has 2 kids under 2.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Yeah.
That's your fault, buddy. There's a way to prevent that.
I thought about that last night. Like it's horrible when you start getting hungover early.
Well, yeah, you're day drinking.
Because you're day drinking, and then
you have responsibilities.
I can't drink anymore. I mean, I had to get kids. I had to go to a little party. I had to do some things, and then I get home from all that, and I'm like, laundry, dishes,
fuck that,
boxes.
Why don't
Christmas
you hire
cards.
an au pair?
I don't need a nanny. The kids are teenagers.
Drive them around.
I do have someone that helps drive them around every now and then.
And then you get somebody else to do
One
like
of them
the
drives,
other
though.
stuff.
One of them drives. I would love somebody to do the other stuff, but I feel like I need to do that. I've always done the other stuff. I need to do the other stuff. It's still a responsibility. Like, it's not going to go away. You can't just live in your house without doing chores every day.
Oh, contraire. You just pick a day to do them at the end of the week.
I cannot live like that. Like,
Yeah.
that would give me such crippling anxiety. Just sitting here knowing I had all that weighing on me would not.
Well, I guess yours is different. You have 4 people to clean up after, but it's a
Yeah.
much bigger. I have 1 plate, 1 fork, 1 knife, and I just clean it at the end of every night, and then I use it again.
I took like a pile of laundry upstairs this morning that I'd folded yesterday and went to this particular kid's dirty clothes basket. It was all the way full again.
Well, you have daughters.
But I mean, they change clothes like 4 times a day. They wear like 4 outfits a day. So does David. They all do. They all wear so many clothes. Do you do that?
No.
You just stay in the one outfit all day?
I'll wear this morning. I'll wear this.
Now it
workout
comes out.
attire, and then I'll change for mic'd up
Okay,
after
so
I
3
shower.
outfits.
3 outfits.
You're doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's annoying. Do you do your own laundry?
Yes, of course. Put it in the basket, bring it down, put it in the wash. I have to bring it back up. I have to bring it to the big house because I don't have a washer dryer.
But you do it yourself.
Sometimes she nabs it. Depends. We got a good ecosystem going.
I would totally do your laundry.
I'll bring it here.
If you lived in my house, I said, if you lived in my house, I wouldn't be able to like have your laundry sitting there waiting for you to do it without me doing it.
Oh, we got a phone call. Let's
All right,
see.
who is it?
I don't know.
Tell us about your laundry.
Let's see.
Hello.
What's happening, bro? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Houston.
What's happening?
Hey, this is Larry calling.
Larry.
About the Denver Harris kid.
Oh, you
The
got
kid
news?
is. Well, no, I know the kid is a good little kid. I stay in the area of Houston I stay in. He went to school. It's the powerhouse in Houston. It's North Shore, Galena Park, North Shore. And, you know, they had problems with Zach Evans. For you to make that, I mean, I just think he made a bad mistake. But Zach Evans, that played for Ole Miss, he come from that same high school. Grant Delpy come from that high school.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you know,
when you talk about Zach Evans, that's somebody that obviously, if you followed his recruiting, it was as, like, I guess mercurial as it can get. Like, he bounced around and committed to like 3 different schools, went silent, missed his state championship game.
He had got in trouble before he even got in college.
Right, that's what I'm saying. During his recruitment,
yeah, and but usually they coach over there don't take nothing. That's why I was surprised that Denver done that. But most of the guys that come from that school, hey, that's a very disciplined. That school district is disciplined. I mean, they don't play with them. You know what I'm saying?
Like
So I sort of hope they give. I mean, I hope that he pick LSU because I think BK will do a great job with him.
I do too.
Well, yeah, you saw, like I said, you saw what the high school did, kicking Zach Evans off the team before his state championship because I think he was on his phone. Like that, if you're the high school coach, you want your best player on the field, and for him to kick him off, they're obviously running a tight ship over there. So Denver Harris, it shows he can fall in line because did he miss any high school time?
No, not that I know of. I mean, you know, like I said, I catch some of them guys every year. They going to state, man, and winning every year. So you know, it just surprised me. But like Zach Evans was like the #1 player I think in the country at the time.
Yeah, and now you see it. Now you see him balling at Ole Miss once he got into a place where under Lane Kiffin he was able to find a little bit of structure, which is weird to say about Lane. But if you put in Brian Kelly into that situation, you know it's going to be structured.
Yeah, but I just hope he picked the. I just hope that LSU get him. Go Tigers! Y'all have a good day,
I do
bro.
too. Thank you,
Hey,
Larry.
thanks for calling in, bro.
All right.
There we go.
He's right. It is. I mean, I think BK can whip him into shape, right?
Yeah, I would imagine that
it's
he'll be able to kind of because what's the point? Like
I know.
Denver Harris, you're only going to get so many opportunities. You might as well like get with the program. Look at what we did whenever people listened. And Mekhi Gardner talked about that whenever he was asked about coming to LSU, and he had a quote saying, look, it wasn't an easy situation to bring in all these transfer portal kids, like for everybody to get on the same page. And you can see what happened when we did those. So people that are coming to LSU, follow what the program says because it works. Like for Mekhi to say that after being at, and he came in here and we interviewed him and he talked about how the structure under Billy Napier at UL was like similar to what he found at LSU. He's like, oh, this is what successful head coaches do. Like I was under it at Billy Napier, say what you want at Florida, but you can't discredit what he did at UL and turning that thing into a winner. You see what happens when he's gone. And so for him to go from successful head coach and find success with another head coach is what kind of makes you believe a little bit. Right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lloyd, Jeff, and
Kenner. Why are you blowing me up about, dude, you saw Baker. That was electric.
Yeah, Jeff, come on.
Come on, man.
Why are you mad at Baker?
Bus.
Why are you mad at Baker, Jeff?
You could put Nuss and Baker on the same bus. They're going to have a flat tire after a couple games.
Yeah, but you saw the spark. You saw it with Nuss too. Yeah, nobody's mad about it.
Yeah, but somebody in the chat made a great point. That always happens. You got a guy come in. You don't know what he's going to do in a certain situation. He lights it on fire, and then he's always going to fall back to his habits. Trust me. This is a flash in the pan. I'm just saying. I'm gonna mark those words.
Okay, we'll have a bet.
All right, you got it. Well, hey, you are correct, Lloyd, and I hate to say.
I'm sorry.
It pains me. The Harris thing, you said it yesterday, I believe. When a player that young is put in a situation he's never been put in, away from home, away from responsibility, but when you put somebody in a toxic, bad culture, that's going to breed toxic, bad behavior, period. And you're seeing it over and over again with Texas A&M this year. I mean, Jimbo has no control of that program. The portal numbers don't lie. I mean, there's a reason that's happening. It's not just by coincidence. So I think what we're seeing is just a lot of players, they just can't cope with that situation. And I think y'all are right. If we put him in the right culture, Brian Kelly, very disciplined, very methodical, very rigid with his process, his alignment, all the accountability, there's no doubt Harris could thrive with LSU.
Yeah, because Denver Harris isn't the only one at A&M that's having trouble. Right. You know, like he gets highlighted the most because there's interest from LSU's end, and it seems like a perfect fit if everything off the field was normal. But Denver Harris isn't the only one that got in trouble at A&M. Like, because whenever you let it, kind of the culture manifest itself in that manner where there's nobody at the top that really, it feels like gives a shit, because they all went there for, whether you like it or not, A&M paid for a lot of these players, and whenever that's the culture that you align yourself with, what do you think is going to happen?
Exactly.
Right.
What he missed 6 games? Denver Harris did. He missed 6
got
games
suspended.
the last 5. What were there were 2 separate suspensions. Was one curfew related?
I don't know.
You know, Jeff?
I can barely hear you, Katie. Say that again.
Oh, sorry. Denver Harris, we were talking about how he missed 6 games, including the final 5, due to 2 separate suspensions. One of them, I think, was curfew related. Lloyd and I were trying to remember.
One of them was definitely for the car, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Look. When you have reports of players smoking vape pens in the locker room, you got a problem. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, like you said, like, this ain't a one-off.
Right.
But hey guys, I know we don't talk a lot about the Pels, but lo and behold, #1 in the West. And I know this is not a Pels show. This is more of an LSU show. But man, oh man, do we have some fire down here in New Orleans with the Pelicans?
Isn't it wild though? Do you make it to games, Jeff?
I have not made a game yet. I love going to the games. They're so fun to go to. They're family friendly. They're fun. But I think the thing that a lot of, and what we don't even realize with the Pelicans, is they're missing 2 starters.
I know.
And they're #1 in the West. They're missing Herb Jones and B.I. I mean, this is crazy.
It is really is crazy, but it's super exciting. Thank God, because nobody wants to watch the Saints.
Yeah, and I'm gonna end on a somber note. Although I'd love to stay on the phone and co-host with y'all for the full another hour.
Feel free.
The Saints. I tell you what, guys, I am a long-time Saints season ticket holder, long-time Saints fan, and this has been one of the most frustrating, depressing, aggravating seasons I've ever experienced. I don't even go to the games because I'm so aggravated. I'm going to tell you this right now. I was on board. I thought DA and Carmichael were going to do a great job. I thought this was going to be a seamless transition. And injuries wrecked, I think, the beginning of the plan, but I think we've now seen way too much evidence. And y'all have had all these guys on, the Brody Millers, the other guys come in and talk about it, that it's pretty clear that DA is way over his head in decision-making, personnel moves. And the one that I will point to that we can talk about that I think he dug his grave with was sticking with Andy Dalton once Winston got healthy. I think that was a grave error. And I think that is what ultimately is going to cost him his job. He may come back next year, DA. I don't know, but I think that was I can't even express how disappointed I was with that decision.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that because of the way the Michael Thomas injury situation was handled, then with Jameis Winston being hurt and you saw the reports of the injury having essentially a broken back and they put him back out there, do you think that the fact that he may have been, I don't want to say re-injured, but not totally healthy, that they're trying to cover up from any injuries that could have happened from him going back out there, and now they're like, look, let's cut our losses. We can't play him right now because we may have mismanaged the injury in the first place. Because the New Orleans Saints medical team obviously is having a tough time getting players back on the field, or when they put them back on the field, they're not ready to play.
Well, first I'll answer your first part of that question. Number one, I think that Jameis. Well, first of all, the reports were, and I'm not part of the Saints staff. He had more than exactly right. He had more than the back injury. He was still rehabbing his ACL. He's not fully recovered from that. That was reported. They said he was about 90% there. He had an ankle issue that I think was underreported. They said he was having a lot of trouble with one of his ankles, and then you add his back. So there was this avalanche of injuries, and I think you're right. They did not want to put him out there. But the other reports were saying that he was healthy at one point and ready to come back, and that's when DA made the announcement, we're going to ride with Dalton. And I think that was just a bad decision. Now, your second point, I think that we can conjecture all day long about the Saints medical staff. I think that's a lot of smoke by nothing, because I don't think that's true. I think we have just had a horrific black cloud of injuries for this team that are like, and I think Nick Underhill came on your show and talked about this. These are not conditioning injuries. These are just freak injuries. I mean, here's an example, Lloyd. Do you remember how Michael Thomas got hurt?
No, I mean, he hurt his foot.
He was blocking it was a goal line play. They did a dive. I think it was Ingram up the middle. They had put Thomas on the left side. He had gone in motion, and he was right behind the tight end blocking. The play was over. If you pulled up a replay of it, it would blow your mind. The play was over, and offensive linemen, because Thomas was there and not paying attention, rolled up from behind and rolled his ankle up. He wasn't even involved in the play. The point is, the medical staff had nothing to do with that. It was just a freak injury. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't know how it was treated. We don't know what was done after the fact. But people getting hurt, my point is this. People getting hurt are not a result of the medical staff not doing their job. They're conditioned. They're doing the right things. And I just think we have had just this unbelievably bad run, almost like karma. We had 10 years of glory with Sean Payton. He leaves, and then the black cloud just came and it's parked over this franchise the last 2 seasons.
That's true.
It's
been rough.
That's just my on the injury part.
Hold on, Jeff. Before you go, Baker Mayfield or Andy Dalton?
Herndon Hooker.
They don't have a pick.
I'd love to see Hooker get drafted second, third round. Oh my Lord, would he tear it up? That would be that would be awesome. Well, hey, a lot of people. By the way, Katie, I have a theory. I put it in the thing. Only great-looking women wear hats.
Can pull off the hat.
Aw, thanks,
Kudos
Jeff.
to you.
Thank
Kudos
you.
to
I
you, my
appreciate that.
Don't give her too many flowers just because she's hungover.
I'm not hungover. I'm not hungover. I was hungover yesterday during the day. That's over.
What were we drinking yesterday, Katie?
Champagne.
I'm gonna guess French
the worst
75.
thing to be like hungover on.
It's the quickest hangover of all time.
Yeah. We ordered
Brent
Kir No, we
75s?
ordered Kir Royales, and they made them like so
Extra
dark
strong.
and ridiculous. Like we just used it to pour into other glasses of champagne. So
Oh, Lordy.
yeah,
Oh,
Well, that's what you get at Galatoire's, Jeff. You know this.
that is what you get at Galatoire.
well, you know, hoity-toity Katie over there. Yeah, she probably had the big bonnet on with the flowers. and,
I did
yeah.
have a little headband on with a Santa hat on it.
All right, y'all have
Very
a great day.
festive. Thank
All
you,
right,
Jeff. We
appreciate it.
appreciate you.
I knew it.
You knew what?
No, just the champagne hangover. That's the thing that comes the quickest. It's the worst.
That's the
because
worst hangover.
There's no way to fix it other than keep drinking.
We went and had a coffee and Kahlua at the Carousel Bar to try to help us like get home alert
And awake.
That helps. Remember last year when I called you after this same lunch and we talked all the way home?
Oh yeah, you did. You abused
And I
me.
was
You just
drinking a
used me as
coffee
a
and
pawn
Kahlua.
in your drive home.
Yeah, we had good conversation.
I know, but
right?
I know the move. People do this to me all the time when they're on the road. Like my friends like drive a lot for work, and they're like, "Oh, on the road." I was like, "God damn it!" Like 35 minutes into the like, "Why are we still talking?" It's like,
Because
"Oh, I'm
they
just
know
driving."
that you're going to talk and you have a lot to talk about.
No, I think they just. I'm just filling time. I'm essentially just the radio. Like you're abusing your power.
No, but we want to talk to you.
I think they just. Yeah.
We wouldn't call you if we didn't
That's
want to
true.
talk to you.
I guess I should take it as a compliment.
Please do. I don't understand
Absolutely,
why
no.
you wouldn't. Jeez,
But have you
what?
done the espresso martini?
Yes, and you know what? I had my first one in New York this fall, like in October when I was
Oh,
there.
the Mecca.
My friend was like, "Let's get espresso martinis," and I was like, "I've never had one," and they were like, "What?"
Oh, I
So
didn't.
I had my first one at the Polo Bar at the St. Regis.
Thoughts?
It was great, and it made me feel good.
Yeah, it's like cocaine in a glass.
I guess I've never done cocaine, but it made me feel like alive again, like not tired. Like it was a perfect combination of alcohol and caffeine.
If you're anti Red Bull and vodka, which you are,
I am,
except for once,
except for once.
then it's the adult Red Bull vodka is espresso martini. But you have to
Yeah.
be careful where you're not going to, a dive bar and getting one. You got to be somewhere.
Yeah, that would be bad, right?
Somewhere nice. But Jeff and Kenner brought up an interesting point that I'm trying to remember about.
You can't remember because you're in there replying to people in the chat about nothing,
Oh,
like your house being a mess.
I'm not home enough.
We can't do the chat today. There's only 2 of us here. There's no way we can keep up with
know.
everything. Go
So-
back to Jeff's point.
I forgot it. I'd have to re-listen to the call. He'd have to call back.
Are
in.
you serious?
But there was something I meant to note, but we'll move on. Anyway, Shay
Okay.
Dixon.
Nate
Listed.
is asking if we're good for 8:30. I'm going to see if he can call
Just
earlier.
call it now, Nate. Jesus.
Do you want to send him the link?
Absolutely. It's the same link.
Okay. I'm texting him about it. Let's take a
All right,
break
let's
real
take
quick
a break.
and we'll
Yeah, hell
reset.
yeah. Oh,
What?
show brought to you by
Go Chevrolet. I was about
Chevrolet.
to say it.
Yeah.
But let's take a break and come right back and we'll be brought to you by Go Chevrolet again.
Absolutely.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be.
Contact me for more information, Katie@JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
All right. We have Nathan Velasquez in the queue, but I did want to mention before we get going, one more sports topic is Mel Kiper comes out with his big board, having Jayden Daniels ranked 5th of all quarterbacks on the big board. People seem to think that round suits for a 2nd or 3rd round grade. Mel Kiper's first big board release is never the final big board release. You have to realize, this is Leon Landry, by the way, fire, the beat. You have to realize, if Jayden's not healthy, not able to play in the bowl game, there's a world where he probably wants to come back, and obviously the quarterback situation at LSU is a much debated, it's a topic of hot discussion. Hold on, Nate, I'm getting you set up. Hot discussion. Real hot. And now we are ready. So chew on that for a little bit, and as I say that, we bring in Nathan Velasquez, who obviously has a take on the topic. Nate, how we doing? Oh, I gotta plug you in. My bad. Hold on, Nate.
We're not ready.
All right, now go.
For those of you who don't know, and Nate doesn't really know either, Jordy's out sick today, just for those of you who are joining us back.
He's got a bellyache. Did he do this a lot at OTB or no?
No,
Doesn't
it's
seem
going
like
around.
it.
There's a stomach thing going around, but that's why it's just Lordy. That's why it's just Lloyd and I today. Lordy, I love that name.
Oh, yeah.
And Nate, thank you for joining us. How's it going?
Pretty good. Are you sure it's not a hangover? Jordy would always show up or be out at ESPN with hangovers.
Well, he doesn't really
He doesn't drink
though.
anymore.
Yeah, he never drinks.
He doesn't really drink all that often. I guess this is a new thing.
I remember the few times he would get over to Bogey's for like a Christmas party, and then it'd be the next.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think he was partying last night.
Bogeying anymore. Anyway, what you got for us, Nathaniel?
You got your top 10 of the year, huh?
Yeah, we got a top 10 of the year. Normally, like some people do this in like the beginning of the new year, but I feel like you gotta look at what's going on like while you're still in December. And
I do too.
There's not too much coming out now that's gonna like replace anything. So, I mean, the stuff that is coming out that might get into the top 10 is Empire of Light. That kind of seems like maybe like the sentimental family movie that's going to come out at the end of the year. Maybe if you want to go see it at Christmas, that's going to be the one to maybe take your mom and dad to. But the big ones that might make it into the top 10 that are still, I don't think there's any of that going on. Just kind of like a few like tear-jerking moments. That's about it. We've got Babylon that's coming out soon from the creator of La La Land, Whiplash, First Man. It looks kind of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on cocaine. So it's like 3 hours long. It's coming out, I think, the week of Christmas.
Jeez,
so that could be a fun one to go and see. I know. And then if you want to go to see another screening that same week, you could go see Avatar 2, which is also 3 hours long. I don't know why everything is either 2.5 hours long or 3 hours long, but apparently that's just the way it goes now in Hollywood. Everything has to be over 2.5 hours. I mean, sometimes it's okay, but like, we need to give it a rest here. Like, let's get the editors to work, get some 2-hour movies out there. But I think those three are the ones to look out for that might creep into the top 10. But looking back throughout the year, at least for me, I think the top 10, you start at number 10 with The Batman. That movie has kind of jumped all around this year on my list, but it's always been in the top 10. I feel like Robert Pattinson surprised us. There's a really solid Bruce Wayne.
Agreed.
I think the mood they bring to the movie is still unique. I think it deserves to be, I mean, clearly above George Clooney, clearly above Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
It's in the topper echelon of the Batmans. So that goes in at number 10. Number 9, I would say Northman. Did y'all see this movie?
I did not
This
see
was
that.
earlier in the year. This was like in April. It's a solid movie. It's a tough movie. It feels like nobody. So obviously, it's a Viking movie.
A lot of people are in it.
It feels like a lot of people are in it. Alexander Skarsgård's in it. Ethan Hawke is in it. Willem Dafoe is in it. Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. Bjork. Where's she been? Why is she in this movie?
I know. It was weird. And she very characteristically, she shows up as kind of like a ghost in the middle of the movie. It feels like she's in love with the role that she's got. But yeah, Bjork, I don't know what she's been doing. But it's a solid movie. It feels like a recreation of that timeline. I think it opens with a subtitle that's like, it's something like 1300 August. Like, it's very much trying to recreate what it would have been like in that time. It doesn't feel like there's anyone in the movie that is like, oh, they're talking like we talk today. They're acting like we talk today. Like, they got rid of all the morals of today. It feels as brutal. It makes you not want to go back to that time. But it feels very, very accurate.
Nate,
it's a very fun kind of recreation of that.
Nate, before you get going,
Yeah.
we have a mouse in the house, and seeing you're from New York City, I would imagine you've dealt with this quite a bit. What's the plan?
Lloyd's
We
freaking
don't
out
want
over
to. We
here.
don't want to kill it, but I also don't want to run up my pants leg. And I just hurt his
Lloyd's
feet
being a
because
little
he's
girl
fucking
over
massive.
here, freaking out.
You haven't seen him yet.
I don't need to. It's a
He's
mouse.
huge.
Oh my god, it's not huge.
Is it one mouse? How many mice is
That's
this?
what I'm also concerned with. I don't want to kill a father or a mother, but we might.
Lloyd left a trail
I
of
didn't know that was your
peanuts
concern.
going out the door.
I
so
tried to
that
be
the mouse
humane,
could go.
but if they find
that's
out that we
hilarious.
have this many peanuts, we have a whole stash, and I feel like he's kind of struck the mother load here. So we're in a Ratatouille situation.
We are.
We don't really have a mouse problem here. I mean, you got rats outside.
Yeah.
That's about but scary looking things. But
Okay,
in your
sorry,
position,
Nate.
honestly, I would lay
Continue
down.
on.
Do you have get those little like sticky traps? Whenever I had an apartment in Baton Rouge, there was like a mouse problem, and we got rid of them with the sticky traps.
Well, I know, but then you can't get them off those traps, right? Don't you just like throw them away with the trap?
Yeah,
I
you
can't do
gotta
that.
throw them away. You start to feel. I became a little dehumanized to mice throughout that infestation. I was kind of like, you just.
Yeah,
I
I can't do
lost.
that.
I lost that. What you're feeling there pretty quickly, Lloyd.
They just became.
I'm sorry to deal with it,
But it's just the one for now, and my brother had one in Lafayette. So
Look at him. He's
but
just
we
looking over his shoulder the whole time.
because I hurt his feet. But we just let him live. He lived in the house the whole time, and he kind of, he made his way around. So I'm hoping that maybe we can have. I just want to invite his friends over. It's not a party. It could be a party of one, but we can't have the whole clan coming in.
If you've got one mouse, you've got more mice. They're there.
Probably.
You just haven't seen them yet. I'm sorry to tell you, Lloyd.
Are they akin to rabbits?
Well, they're rodents.
I don't think they're akin.
No, I'm talking about with the.
Are they?
With the population control? Like, are they fucking all the time?
Probably. There's a ton.
Oh, I think it's more that they have a shit ton of kids when they do have kids. Don't they?
Big litter.
Don't they like give birth to like 20 of them or something like that? I think that's the bigger problem. In New York, this didn't come out last year. Great documentary, Rats. It goes, it profiles the rat population in New York, New Orleans, and I think Singapore.
Ooh.
And it is probably one of the scariest things I have ever seen. Especially in New Orleans, they've got like super rats over there in some parts of the city. It's tough.
It's
That's
called
a tough
Rats?
watch. But hey, if you're feeling up to it, it's called Rats.
Yeah,
Maybe I need to watch it
recently.
I need to watch it to dehumanize myself from Greg. But with that said,
they don't care about you, Lloyd. They don't.
I don't know. He
care
tried
about
to jump on my leg. I felt like we had a little.
On the break,
I was feeding him.
Lloyd just said, "What do you do? Do like the bear thing where you get scary like a bear?" No, that's what you do to a bear.
You're already like 100 times taller than the mouse.
Yeah, you don't have to make
You're
yourself
probably
bigger.
already freaking
He
him
came
out.
at me with such fury. I didn't know. I thought we were friends, and I was trying to like give him these peanuts and lead him out
You're
the door.
not.
I tried to Hansel and Gretel him.
You're not friends.
No. So all right, I'll have to change my mindset. Speaking of. Changing topics.
All right, number 8.
No.
What?
Real quick,
We're
before
on
you
the top 10.
he'll finish the list, we had a question in the chat, which makes me one of my all-time favorite movies, Rush Hour. They're making Rush Hour 4. I wanted to get your thoughts on. Oh, is this breaking news to you?
Are they really?
Yeah, Jackie Chan announced
Rush
it yesterday.
Hour 4. So Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker. Do we have the same? Or do we know if the team is back together, or are they doing kind of like a hybrid thing?
What would a hybrid thing be? Like you're talking about director and such?
Like are Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan both
in it? Yeah, they
Hour 4?
posted a picture on Instagram, both throwing up the 4.
They did. That's
No,
pretty cool.
I am all here for that. I love the first Rush Hour. I mean, yeah, it's the type of thing, and it probably was when I watched them. I was a kid, so the critics probably weren't a fan of 2 and 3, but I think they're all hilarious. I'm there for Rush Hour 4.
Run it
absolutely
back every time. Okay, continue with your list. I just thought that's one of my all-time favorites. We're in the same boat where Rush Hour 2, might be one of the better sequels of all time. Rush Hour 3, you have to continue it on. Like, just keep it going. If you get the old 90s comedy duo can never be beaten of, like, stern cop and funny cop, but then Jackie Chan does it so well where he's both. Chris Tucker breaks him.
And we actually got a lot. Chris Tucker does, he does break him a few times. We actually have a few sequels on the list. This has been like a huge year for sequels. Although the next on the list, number 8, is Fabelmans. This is the new Spielberg movie. And I would really implore people that haven't seen it. It's doing terribly in theaters right now. And I think it has probably got the worst marketing campaign. The trailer to this movie is so bad. The poster looks terrible.
Yeah.
But I would really ask, if you have not gone out to see it, really you should. The posters and the trailer make it look like this is some saccharine sweet, Steven Spielberg is a little kid running around making movies, and maybe he sees a dinosaur at one point and you're like, oh, look at that, he's going to make Jurassic Park one day. It is not that movie. It is not that movie at all.
It's loosely based on his upbringing, right?
Very I would say loosely based. No. I was going to go the other way. Like, it is pretty. The only difference seems to be the names of the characters.
Oh, really?
This is about Steven Spielberg, about his 2 sisters, about his mom, about his dad. If you know anything about Steven Spielberg, every single movie he's made is an allegory about divorce. That happened to his family. They went through that, and he's been very open. Like, pretty much every story he tells, that story is in there somewhere, what his family went through in that. And this movie, I am shocked the amount of information that he wrote that is just kind of like, yeah, this is my family, this was us, warts and all. Like, watching it, it's like, are you really telling us this about your parents? And both his parents recently passed away, and he is kind of like, I had to wait until my parents passed away to tell this story about them. I am just kind of shocked that he went ahead and did it. It's the type of thing that I think any other director maybe you'd call overindulgent for, like, diving into their own personal life this much, but it's Steven Spielberg. Like, he's made the greatest movies of all time. Like, Steven Spielberg gets to do this, and it's great for it. It's got probably one of the funniest endings of this year. I would really implore people to go and check it out. It is not what that poster looks like. It's not what that trailer looks like. It's really worth it. It's going to be on demand soon. So even watch it at home. That'd be a really good movie to watch at Christmas.
Yes.
Although, again, it's 2.5 hours. So
I
just
see
brace
that.
yourself.
What
Everything
is
is
the deal with
2.5
that?
hours. I don't know what's going on. I think all these movies that are coming out were being made and edited during the pandemic. So they all got like another 5 months, and they were like, screw it, let's put everything in there. I think that's what's going on. Number 7, this is a little-known movie. It didn't get a ton of attention. It's got John Hamm. It is Confess Fletch. And if you're a fan of John Hamm, he's in Top Gun Maverick this year, classic from Mad Men. He is playing a comedy character right now, and it feels John Hamm in Top Gun Maverick. Is that what happened?
He's what, Lloyd?
Is that what you're saying, Lloyd?
No, I'm saying
Huge
he's got
bulge?
Bulge. He's got
Oh.
every paparazzi that takes a picture of him. He's always going commando, and he's just letting that thing hang.
Okay.
You know, Lloyd, I didn't notice that.
I'll send you. Just Google it right now.
And for
Google John Hamm Bulge.
I'm not going to Google that right now, but that's okay. Maybe later.
Yeah. Oh.
Maybe later.
In your personal time.
I saw the preview for this movie, the trailer. It looks good. It looks fun.
It's very good. It's got the Naked Gun vibe, which is something I was kind of surprised for John Hamm to do. It's very funny, very silly. I would say that as far as comedies go this year, this one was a little bit more than you normally get. So that's why it's right there at number 7. Number 6, these are kind of the movies we kind of been talking about on the show. Number 6 is Barbarian. If you're into horror, I would even say if you're not into horror, this is this kind of a comedy horror movie. There's a ton of misdirects throughout the entire thing. It's a very solid horror movie. I would say that this is probably going to be the horror movie that is remembered. Maybe of the next, like last year and this year, this is probably the best one. If you're into that, definitely got to check it out. Then we get to the top 5. Number 5 I got here, I think might actually win Best Picture. That's Elvis. It's a weird movie. It is, isn't it?
It's so
very good. This
good.
one I think is 3 hours long.
It is.
I think this is a 3-hour long
It
movie.
is very long, but it is worth it, and it's very different. It's very well done. I mean, it's like a piece of art. I loved it.
It really is. Like, it does not stop. The energy from like the get-go is at 11. It is so it's very, very fun. Austin Butler as Elvis. Like, I went back and looked at some of the actual performances he's doing. How he got such a 1-to-1 of Elvis is astounding. Like, I feel like he's going to get probably up for Best Actor. The Academy right now, they love Elvis. Like, I'm hearing that the screenings that they do for the 4-year consideration campaigns are packed out, standing ovations. This could be kind of one of the most remembered movies of the year.
Yeah.
It's really, really, it's very fun. There's some negative press going on about it, about the Tom Hanks character, and I can see where that's coming from, but I don't know. It's still just weirdly wild.
It really is. It's Baz Luhrmann. I mean, you know what you're
thing
getting. You have to know what you're getting going into it. I feel like people kind of went into it thinking it was going to be a more traditional Elvis movie, and it is not at all. And that's who Baz Luhrmann is. He's not traditional.
I loved it for that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah. I love that it wasn't traditional. It came from an angle I did not think it would, and it makes a movie all the better for it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see Baz Luhrmann back. He's
Me
good.
too.
He's really good. Number 4, this is another movie that's not out yet. It comes out December 23rd. It was out for a week around the country because Netflix has got a weird strategy. It's Glass Onion, the new Knives Out movie. If you've seen the old Knives Out, it's the story of this movie becoming a series. The first Knives Out cost $30 million, ended up doing like $300 million. Netflix bought the rights. They went to Daniel Craig and they said, hey, you did 5 James Bond movies. You got $100 million for all those performances. We want to give you $100 million to do 2 more Knives Out movies. Crazy the amount of money they're giving him to do these. This new one, it's so wild. It's so wild. This new one comes out December 23rd. It's got a bigger scope. I think it's funnier. This is a really, really solid movie. And again, the movies that were the good ones this year, I think we're focusing more on being fun.
Yeah.
And Glass Onion is one of those. You're going to be able to go back and watch it a second, a third time, find new meaning in the plot that's going on and the mystery of it. Don't read reviews. Don't look up. Don't be spoiled by this movie because there's so many misdirects. It's really, really fun. I would say, again, watch it with your family. But also, again, it's 2.5 hours long. Yeah. So the top 3 now, number 3, probably biggest movie of the year in terms of box office, Top Gun Maverick. It was the impossible. People told Tom Cruise, drop Top Gun. You've been trying to make a Top Gun sequel since 2015. Nobody cares. Stick to Mission Impossible. You're going to run out of cachet at some point as an actor. And through everything, Tom Cruise said, no, we're going to keep working on it. The pandemic hit. He said, I'm not putting this thing out on streaming. We're waiting for theaters. And it is paying off. It is crouching out on being like top 5 highest box office movies of all time. It is still doing so well. I think it's coming out on Paramount soon to watch. But it's just a thrill. That section where Tom Cruise goes to do the 2.5-minute run is just one of the most thrilling things.
Yeah.
Like not just of this year, of what I can remember. Like it's Christopher Nolan type levels of excitement. Like Tom Cruise, fantastic. Everyone that is Miles Teller is fantastic.
Yeah, he's great.
Jennifer Connelly is fantastic. Everyone so good. And I think they're going to probably put it back in theaters at some point.
Oh, really?
For the end of the year, maybe early next year. Yeah, they're talking about it.
That'd be cool because I watched it at home. I think it'd be better in the theater.
No scene more exciting than when they played football on the beach, right? Like, you can't beat that. That was probably the most action-packed thing Tom Cruise has ever done.
You couldn't see John Hamm's bulge there, Lloyd. I'm sorry. You could see pretty much everything else of everyone else.
Whenever he puts on the singlet and he wants to be like he wears the official uniform, what do you think happens? It's got to go somewhere.
Lloyd shows up with a pair of binoculars to the theater.
You don't need them.
What's this guy with the goatee doing over there? You don't need them. Number two. Okay, last 2 movies. This movie, it didn't get like huge notice. It isn't like in the top 10. There's another Netflix movie. It's not one of the top 10 on Netflix. You might need to seek it out. It is called Athena. It's a war movie, essentially, a war movie that takes place in France in an apartment block. The movie that I would compare this to is Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's epic war movie. The opening shot alone, if you're interested in this type of thing, is a 10-minute shot of just a continuous take of this attack that goes on. One of the most, again, thrilling things that I've seen this year in a while. Top Gun Maverick's much more exciting from like just action, like blockbuster action. This one, much more thrilling just in terms of the viscera of seeing just a war in one's own. It's kind of more of like a civil war situation in France. Just the conceit of everyone having to kind of lock down in this apartment block, defend themselves. It's a very moving movie, but also just one of the most, in terms of just the spectacle of a movie being able to kind of overcome you. This movie is that. It's really exciting. Goes in at number 2, really because it was not seen that much, and I think it's worth people checking out. It's an hour and a half, quick watch.
There you go.
Very exciting movie. Yes, I know.
Hour and a half.
And we're going to close it off with another 2.5-hour movie. I apologize to everybody, but this is Tar. Tar is going to get Cate Blanchett the Best Actress of the Year. This movie is going to compete for Best Picture. It is about a female composer who is effectively canceled because things start to come out about her past, and it's about how she starts to do damage control, about how that happens. I think the thrilling thing about this movie, it starts off kind of as a drama, becomes much more of a thriller in a way, and Cate Blanchett, I think you'd compare her to Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. This whole movie kind of feels like There Will Be Blood. You don't know exactly what's going on, but you get little like snippets of things that are going on throughout the entire movie. And as things accumulate, you kind of have to decide in the end what's true, what's not true. It's very interesting the way that it kind of takes all of the, I guess, kind of landmines that we deal with today and just kind of runs right through them in a way that you kind of have to. I would say this is a movie to watch with some friends and go and get a beer afterwards, because no one is going to have seen the same movie. And
really?
it kind of goes through a bunch of, yes, it's very interesting. It's one, definitely check it out with a group that it's a great talk about movie. Like, what the heck, what did that scene mean? Like, it's got one of those endings. It's like, whoa, what are we doing here? What's going on? Is this where we're ending? It's a good movie. It's a very solid movie. I think probably one of the, in terms of like awards movies, it's probably going to be up there in more of that category. But yeah, I'm going with that, number 1 movie of the year.
Nice. What are you breaking down on 5-Minute Critic?
We're going to talk about The Fabelmans, dive a little bit more into this new Spielberg movie. It's a weird one. And it's still very entertaining, very funny. I think it's the type of movie if you're the type of person that sees yourself a little bit more of the artistic type. It gives a portrait of characters that kind of have to struggle between how do you act or behave or, fulfill that artistic side in the real world. It talks about that type of stuff in a way that is very interesting. And I haven't really seen a movie do that. And we'll talk about it on 5 Minute Critic.
Yay, I'm going to
Nate,
watch
hold
that
on,
this
hot
weekend.
take. I don't think There Will Be Blood is interesting at all. Like, I thought it was one of the most boring movies I've ever seen. What did I miss?
Whoa,
I know I'm wrong,
what?
but maybe I need to give it another go. But it was just a lot of, like, it was a Daniel Day-Lewis show. He was just stammering around and muttering and, like, digging a hole. And I was like, I know we're looking for oil. Are we going to find oil? He's beating some kid up. And it was just like, what's the point of all this? Where are we going?
So There Will Be Blood. I get what you mean. First of all, if you're going into There Will Be Blood, you have to, we're talking again, another 2.5 hour movie. You got to be ready for not something that's plot driven. It's much more almost like a bunch of short films about probably the biggest prick of the 20th century. Ever. And I think that movie is about diving into the personality, the mind of someone who does not give a shit about anything around them, but is hyper successful, hyper obsessive, and what that does to him. And he becomes successful. He becomes very successful. Watching it, you can see there's commentary about the 20th century, commentary about kind of unrestrained corporatism or something like that. It's the type of movie that I think you can't think about it as a plot-driven film. It is much more about the tone, about just the anxiety that's going into this. It's more of a portrait of a character than it is a story about finding oil in California during, the oil boom of the 20th century. So if you do watch it again, I would say be more ready for the runtime and ready that it's just about Daniel Plainview and how demented this man is, and see if afterwards it sticks with you for a bit. That's one of those movies that, like, after a week, you're like, wow, what a prick, and what a movie.
Thank you, Nate. 5 Minute Critic is where you can find him on social media. Nate Velasquez, we appreciate you as always. Thanks for breaking all that down. Got some movies to watch this weekend.
Yeah.
You better have some time,
Thank you all
Jesus.
very much.
Well, I'm wrapping gifts. That's what I do.
Oh.
Put movies on.
There
Thank
you go.
Nate. We
There you go.
appreciate
Put
you.
on Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
No, that one you have to
appreciate y'all
watch.
too. Talk to you later.
All right, appreciate it, buddy.
Bye. Okay,
did it.
We do. We have to watch some movies this weekend. I've never watched There Will Be Blood.
What's the first movie you've ever seen with a boy? Like your first date movie?
I have no idea. But the one I have the earliest recollection of, I think, was Natural Born Killers, because my parents told me I was
what a
absolutely
weird one to go see.
They told me not to go see that movie. It was forbidden for me to go see that movie, and my boyfriend at the time took me to see that movie.
What a rebel.
We went, and I was scared to death the entire time. Like, I felt like I was doing something so wrong. They were surely going to find out. And I'm not even sure if we stayed the whole time because the guilt was so much for me.
Oh.
But then I ended up watching it later. But that's my first.
I mean, Natural Born Killers is a good, I'm not the one to say, but it's a good movie to be like, hey, don't go see that. You're not ready.
Yeah. Your kid, yeah.
I mean, they take, like, acid during the movie.
They do a lot.
They shoot a lot of rattlesnakes.
There's a lot in that movie.
Who is, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Who is our pest control?
Shelton. S&L Pest Control.
Because now that I'm thinking about it,
I got to give him a call.
Days or number. We have too many wires. And
what do you mean?
Rats love to chew on wires. Like, don't they?
They do. Well, rats do. Do mice? This is a mouse.
I mean, rats are outside, mice are inside. I don't know where obviously came from outside at some point. He didn't live here.
No, he wasn't born here, born and raised here. You're really stressing over this mouse.
Well, now I am, because
all you're doing is looking over your shoulder. The whole time. What do you think it's going to do to you, though?
Crawl up my leg is what I'm really scared of.
You would know, though, if it was coming in to do that.
But yeah, I'm trapped in the corner. I can't do anything. But I'd have to.
Closet?
I'm trapped in the closet. Let's make part 18 of that. Jesus, did you watch all of them?
All of what?
The R. Kelly series
he
did before he was.
I guess
he was still in hot water.
That was a while ago.
God,
I don't
it was on
remember a lot of
VH1
that.
all the time. It was like the first documentary.
Right. Yeah.
It was incredible.
Poor R. Kelly. Does that
not
make
poor
you?
R. Kelly.
Well,
no, Katie.
Does it make you not like R. Kelly, Michael Jackson? Who
bad
else
people.
Does it make you not listen to their music anymore?
Well, no.
Like, do you still like old
Ignition
school R. Kelly
Remix
songs?
is
right?
the only one that still stays on the docket.
Okay.
because it's a banger.
It is.
It's not my fault.
But there are a lot of people, though, that wouldn't listen to that anymore because it's R. Kelly. Same thing with Michael Jackson, which that was the hardest one for me. And I do still listen to Michael Jackson.
We talked about this when Kanye got himself in hot water.
Yeah.
And by hot water, I mean absolutely canceled. But
right.
he won't ever be fully canceled because he's on too many playlists that people have. You're not going to go, scourge your playlist because...
Right. Some people did.
I would imagine, but there's too many bangers on there.
There really
are.
are.
Oh, man, I remember. This is good Kanye. You just, put yourself in a time machine before the Alex Jones podcast, which was electric in its own right because it's just what are we doing here?
InfoWars.
All right. We made it an hour 30.
Thank y'all, everybody, for hanging in with us.
Yeah.
It was very last minute. I was not fully prepared, but we did it. We made it through an hour and a half. Got my kid to school. Thank you, David.
Oh, yeah. Shout out David.
Shout out David for doing that. Jordy, we hope you feel better, and we will. What is this, Friday?
Friday.
Happy Monday!
Yeah. If you're Josh Pate, I think he's on Wednesday today. So good for him. He's got a long week ahead of him.
Yeah. What do we have this weekend to watch? Army, Navy this weekend?
Army, Navy this weekend, but we also have Mic'd Up 4:30 to 6 from Uncle Earl's.
From Uncle Earl's today.
So you'll get Mikey, you'll get Jay Mitch, and it'll be probably better than this, despite our best efforts.
No, we tried. We
tried.
appreciate all of you hanging in there. I mean, we kept it pretty solid at 350. We're now down to 282, but that's okay.
That's all right. That's Nate's fault.
Yeah, it's totally Nate's fault. We appreciate y'all for sticking through with us today. We will see y'all on Monday. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, as always. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back on Monday from the Jordy Culotta Show. Until then, 4:30 to 6, mic'd up, and then catch all the content we have on Monday, which is we double booked ourselves. I don't know why we did everybody on Monday.
Everybody's on Monday.
But we
Kador,
have
Nick Diaz, Will Wade, us, mic'd up.
Mic'd up, yeah.
Is that everybody on Monday?
That's it.
Yeah, that's a lot. We can't fit any more on Monday.
Oh, I can fit more of you. Later. Subscribe, like,
share.
Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Mic'd Up. Come get boozed up with us. It's a blast.
Yes.
$100 bar tab. Drink them out of their liquor. Say you're with Mic'd Up, they'll love it. Later.
They love it.